Well, indeed, and you wrote in an op-ed, this is one of the things you wrote, there is the sense that Nigeria could very well burn to the ground while the president remains malevolently aloof. The president himself has often telegraphed a contemptuous self-righteousness, as though engaging fully with Nigerians is beneath him. Now, we know that he's an elderly man, we know that he's been sick over the years. How dangerous is the disconnect, as you put it?
I think it is quite dangerous, and I'm not entirely sure how much of it is an inability to understand or an unwillingness to understand, because I do think that there is a wide divide between this generation of Nigerians and the generation of people in power. I also think that there is still very much a sense of our military history, right? That we still have a government that thinks that engaging with people is somehow doing them a favor. And so I find that quite dangerous for our democracy, because if you're unable to really understand the yearnings of your populace, then it's a failure of leadership.
Award-winning Nigerian author Chimamanda Adichie has given her opinion about President Buhari in a recent interview. Reacting to questions during an interview with CNN, Chimamanda talked about President Buhari after her description of the Nigerian president was highlighted in her writings in New York Times. She gave more insights. According to her, there is still an element of military rule in President Buhari's leadership. Chimamanda said that it is a failure of leadership if the Nigerian president can't listen and take to the yearning of the populace. In other words, I also think that there is still very much a sense of our military history, that we still have a government that thinks that engaging with people is somehow doing them a favor, and I find that quite dangerous for our democracy. Chimamanda Adichie had written about the XÞ0SES protest in the pages of the New York Times. The celebrated author also took time to rewrite President Buhari's XÞ0SES speech, which didn't go well with Nigerians. In my opinion, what I would just take from this whole thing is that the so-called politicians, the so-called leaders in the country, they feel so big to talk to the people, whether they lack the capacity or whether they feel that, they've gotten what they wanted. During election time, they will be all over the place. They will be running from pillar to post just to make sure that they get the heart of the people, they get the vote, they get the support and the cooperation of the people. But as soon as they get into power, it's a different ballgame entirely. You will not see them, and that is exactly what is happening. There are a lot of factors, and based on what she has said, and I'm of the opinion, of course, we know that some people who do not even have the military background as well, they are even more wicked, or they are more even brutal compared to those who still have this military trace in them. To me, at least, a lot of factors. One of them should be anybody who has been a military person should not even come up again, because there's that military tendency that they might want to show it, in their governance. The way they preach Buhari this, Buhari that is now a change Democrat, is this and that. But at the end of the day, all na propaganda, all na boboing. We can see the element because he believes that it's too big. And you can remember recently when he made a statement that for the fact that they made the 5 demands of the XÞ0SES protesters is not a sign of weakness. Who does that? Is that not arrogance? Is that not pride? Is not a sign of weakness? Who puts you there? When you were going all over the place, and they were even bragging that he was going all the state he has that strength to campaign. But now, just for him to speak with the people, they are not even in touch with the reality. That is another thing. The pride and the way of governing of those yesteryears is still in them, and that's why they cannot just cope. That's why you can see Lai Mohammed coming out and be telling you that when you engage with a young person, they always like to quote social media. They are on their phone all the time. What do you want them to do? To go and sit down with that your NTA that you have butchered all the news there, to go and listen to all those lies? Is that what you want the so-called youth of nowadays to be doing. The way you did your things in the past, it can't be the same. And the way you did your you lived your life in those days cannot be compared to 2,000 years ago or 3,000 years ago. So you don't expect your own way of doing things that the new generation to continue like that. We have evolved. We have already gone over all of those things. And the reason why they are fidgeting, because in other climes we still have an older generation, we still have new generation. They try to merge up. They try to meet up at some point in time. But in our own case, the pride is there. They want to occupy big offices, yet they don't have what it takes to function in that big offices. Oh, do you know who I am? And a lot of things. And to me, incompetence is just there. Timidity, greed, a archaic way of doing things. You don't expect the way things were in 30 years ago to be operating in the same thing. No, because every day people begin to think, people begin to move forward, to think, oh, what I did in the past, I need to move on, I need to do this, I need to move away from that. You take, balance and check. And now it's too big. It can't even come and speak. It's not as if it's in another country, it's in Nigeria, yet the president cannot even grant interviews. That is far from it. Those who are supporting them, those who are defending, it's like something is really wrong somewhere. You have a president, and when I don't know whether he's really sick, you can imagine even from what the CNN woman was even asking, was even talking about, telling this Chimamanda that, oh, he's an old person, he was sick sometime. If you know that you are tired, won't you go back home? And those who are gaining, who are enjoying and benefiting from all these shenanigans, they are the one championing the whole thing. They will come out and begin to turn things. People that ordinarily, if they are not part of this government, they will not be speaking the way they are speaking. But because of greed, because of what the favor they are getting, they cannot speak the truth, and they want everybody to be thinking in that same regard. It's not going to work. It will never work. That is just the way it is. It will never work. Somebody who is now, you are now bigger, you are supposed to be serving the people, but because of this military mentality, even the ones who do not even have that military traces in them, this greed, this idea of we are on top of the whole situation, you can't do anything, you can't criticize, you can't do anything, you just accept what we tell you. It's not going to happen. It will not work. It will not work. And that is why they are trying so harder to make sure that they subject everybody to their own ideology. And the ideology is retarding people. These are the so-called people that are supposed to know. When you have an elderly people in a place, you are supposed to be confident that yes, with their massive knowledge, their wisdom, you will benefit from them. But the youth of these days, the children of nowadays, they are even more sensible than them. Because if they are sensible, the kind of government, the kind of things we are experiencing in this country, the suffering, the arrogance, the insensitivity, we will not be experiencing it. Poverty at its peak. And those are the people that you want to commit your life into, you want to be listening to. It's not going to happen. And exactly what this lady has said, they are so far from reality. And you want to force people to that your archaic way of doing things, and which is not helping anybody in any way. But you know how selfish they are. Their children are well placed. They can take care of their children. They can do all manner of things. But when it comes to the masses, it's a different ball game entirely. See the way the woman has already embarrassed me. It is there. The embarrassment is just there. The incompetence, everything is just smelling. You can come here and be trying to defend whatever. That is not how it ought to be. If you have a company, you want this, the way Nigeria is being run, that is how you want your company to be run. You cannot agree to that. Then why are you covering for what is not? This is a very great embarrassment. They said it is too old, it's too, whether it's this and it's sick. They just try to be nice. They know that the incompetence is just smelling all over the place. In Nigeria, even dogs and monkeys will ride horses a border crossing the president. God forgive them. President go slow. God bless her for saying that, as in Chimamanda. Sleepy President Buhari, go hard on him, bro. Anyone that has refused to follow the movement will lose someone very close to their hearts. So guys, let's hear your opinion. Leave your comment below and let's have your take on this. Thank you.